What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good evening, wherever you are, and whatever time it is. Welcome back to yet another video with me, Immersiaholic. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another online battle for the divided Impera Overmont for Total War Rome 2. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have another viewer-submitted replay. This is from my good friend Andre Lemgard, who is playing as the Nervii, and he is taking on DEI competitive player Nightingale, who's playing as the Ptolemies. That's right, we have the Nervii, the barbarians of the north of the Belgae, taking on the superpower of Egypt. You can see some of their army in the distance. This is going to be an epic matchup. Both of these guys are very, very skilled competitive players, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm expecting big things from both of them, especially with such contrasting armies. But anyway, let's go over the Nervii roster, and then we'll check out Egypt after that. So, starting from left to right, we have some cavalry. We have 2 units of Remy Elite Cavalry, one of the best cavalry units, well actually the best cav unit that the Nervii get access to, one of the best in the north. Just their stats are insane across the entire board. They do only have 100 men per unit, so it's not as powerful as like some Eastern melee cav units. But those stats on these cavalry are just insane. 12 attack, 18 defense, armor 41. And Andre has 4 of them. He has 2 there, and then 2 more on his right hand flank. But we'll get to the right in a second. Continuing our left to right trend though, he has 2 units of Belgae medium spearmen right here, covering his left flank, which is some Belgae bodyguards. Another Belgae bodyguard sword unit. Those are 2 sword units, 200 men each. In front of them, though, the medium spearmen are 300 each. And then in the front of his line, he has Belgae peasants to act as a meat shield. He has 2 units of those. And right behind his meat shield units, he has Belgae veteran warriors. He has 1, 2, 3, and 4 sets of those. He then has his general, which is a Belgae bodyguard unit in the second line. More Belgae bodyguards, and then on the far right, Belgae medium spearmen. And then, like I said, 2 more Remy Elite Cavalry. So he has a very mobile army. No skirmishes whatsoever that we can see. Yeah, no, none at all. Yeah, very sword heavy. Has spearmen to help deal with cavalry or to soak up the charges of the enemy. So, very nice plan by Andre, although it is a little bit kind of obvious. So we'll see how Nightingale wants to kind of counter that. I mean, once you see the makeup of this army and the positioning of units like these, Nightingale is going to have to make some big decisions on how he wants to try and counter this army composition made by Andre. But anyway, let's check out Egypt and then we'll get into the battle. We're just pressing play here to get the Egyptian army into full view so we can go over it. They don't have any stalk units, but they do have units that were out of our line of sight. So let's go over the units that we can see now for Egypt. So, left to right. We have Cretan infantry, which is basically a levy sword unit. In the second line, in the front line, we have Roman traitor legionnaires, looking absolutely fantastic with their massively bright yellow shields, all with different like variants and paintings though. So very, very cool unit. And Egypt has access to as many of these as they like. It is a part of their core roster. It is not an AOR or auxiliary unit. So they have Roman traitor legionaries, or legionaries, however you want to say it. And they have a front line of them. They have 2 of those right here. We will see more somewhere else on the right. But besides that, we have Galatian cleric spearmen, which is essentially a Galatian Furio spear unit. The only difference being that they have almost no armor at 8. So they're basically Galatian naked spears almost. Borderline. But anyway, they have that unit right there of them. Continuing to the right, we then have Ptolemaic slingers. He has 3 of those. And then behind those, he has 2 Judean slingers in the center. To the right of those, more Galatian cleric spearmen. And then we have the 3 Roman traitor legionaries. Behind them, Cretan infantry. And then to the left of them, kind of on the inside left-hand shoulder, we have some Egyptian royal pikemen, which is 256 men per unit. Getting back to the last line of troops right here. We then have more Galatian cleric spearmen in reserve. And then right here on the left-hand side, we have 2 Egyptian royal pikemen. Then in the far rear, we have a general, which is a sacred squadron unit, which is entirely all about shock with only 6 melee defense. That's how you tell. And then they have some Sarissa Lancers. which again is entirely all about shock, although these guys are also very lightly armored. So let's press play and see how each of these very contrasting armies plan to take each other on. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, pressing play. Let's see what happens. Nervii army immediately sending out their cavalry deep on the left flank. Right flank is holding a little bit closer to the formation. Obviously, Egypt is probably going to be playing pretty defensively. They have 3 units of pikes, and they have a massive core of skirmishers, which is so weird. What is this? I have never seen so many skirmishers make up your front line. But wow, what an interesting decision here. I wonder why he went with that. I would assume it's to deal with the cavalry, but the slingers are in the middle of the formation. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Nightingale is planning to do with them. Cavalry of the of the Nervii, still flanking around, going really deep, perhaps doing some scouting. Here comes the Gatling gun of the slingers. What are they targeting? Targeting the swordsmen. They need troops behind them to help back them up, though, or at least to help quickly. But look at this, here come the attack orders from the Egyptian side. Probably going to try and get the Romans to throw their Pila first. Slingers are falling back. Spearmen moving forward. The Galatian essentially naked through your spears. There goes the javelins from both sides, though. It's not just the Romans that have access to them. Which is almost a bit of a shame, really. It would be nice if it was a little bit more tailored towards Romans, or like only elite troops of barbarian factions. Let's hit slow motion really quickly as we are getting charges from the front, from the Nervii throwaway spearmen. We're also seeing the Nervii cavalry come in very close on the right hand side. Their left hand side cap is just holding for now, but the Nervii are very much in a position to kind of overwhelm the Egyptians because of they have such like a short stocky formation. It's very kind of almost like a U shape how they have their positioning of their units. So we'll see if they can handle it. The Roman legionnaires about to be engaged. They do have an attack order forward. Man, they look incredible. I could do an entire match just close up with those legionnaires. Although he needs to be careful right here with his Cretan infantry trying to push around. Very interesting. They get caught right here on the corner though. That's always frustrating. Meanwhile, oh wow, look at this commitment. Holy crap, let's pause this super quickly. What was that commitment? So not only do we have Egyptian forces committing across the entire front line against the Nervii throwaway troops, that is, we have all of these skirmishers and the 2 units of cavalry that the Egyptians have committing entirely to the left to try and deal with these Remi cavalry. However, the Remi are seeing this nice and quickly and they're trying to pull back. Let's see if this commitment to the left from the Egyptian player backfires. Let's get that play button going. Holy crap, what a move that is. I love that from Nightingale. Probably not going to work though. Nervii have infantry support kind of nearby. And even if these 2 units end up charging these 2 units, these guys are still going to lose. Unless they have support, in my opinion. Remi cavalry is splitting up their left flank. 1 unit's coming around while the other one's flanking around that side. Meanwhile, slingers of the Egyptians is doing some decent hit point damage, but they're not really getting kills, even when they're shooting this unit in the back. This is a Belgae bodyguard unit. They're only just taking casualties now, so basically the Egyptian player needs time for his slingers to start doing well. Remi cavalry is coming around threatening to ruin the slingers' day. Very interesting, but yeah, that push on the left hand side by the Egyptian player, while bold, has not worked out. Very, very cool. I really love to see that. Nervii troops are actually swapping with each other. Spearmen are pulling back. Swordsmen here are pushing forward, and then this other unit of swordsmen also push back. Remi elite cavalry though, they have the freedom to do whatever they want now. That right hand flank of the Egyptians is way too open. These guys need an attack order though. They're not throwing their javelins, so Nightingale must have them off fire at will. Bit of a mistake there. He could have got some nice hit point damage on the Remi cav. Hopefully he sees it and corrects it for his own sake. Moving forward, his cavalry just kind of sitting, which isn't good when it's shock cavalry and he only has 2. But yeah, wow, that right-hand flank of the Egyptians is getting hammered. The Remy elite cav coming in again. And now some Belgae bodyguard units are coming around the side. So they're going to be able to engage any support infantry that were in reserve for the Egyptians. In the meantime, the Egyptians have had one of their spear units get annihilated right here. But their pikes right here are doing very well. This what's that? Is that a pike unit? It is, but it's not engaged at all. So it's not really doing a lot. Meanwhile, left-hand side. Oh no. This is a bad engagement for the Egyptian. 2 of his shock cavalry units were engaged against 1 Nervii unit. I mean, if he got the charge, it's good, but they just got charged and they're stuck at a grind-out fight. These Egyptian cavalry units are going to die if they don't get out as soon as possible. He needs these slingers to be helpful. They could really do some serious damage to the Remy, but they're just not right now. Meanwhile, the Remy elite cav on the right-hand flank just having free reign to charge the crap out of Cretan infantry and the legionnaires, although they are in a square formation now. Hopefully for their sake, that'll help them survive for a bit longer. But seeing some mix-up, some mismatches going on with the infantry engagements. Let's go slow motion again, because this is kind of happening really quick. But on the right-hand side over here, the infantry of the Egyptians has actually come out on top. There's only 3 units of Belgian units left. Right here, here, and here. So it's looking okay for the Egyptians, except the Remy elite cavalry is basically having free reign to do whatever they want. There are spearmen nearby to try and dissuade them, but they can just run around them. Meanwhile, the center of the Egyptians is not looking too good. The Nervii now trying to outflank the pikemen, while they're also dealing pretty severe damage to the front lines right here. And then, yeah, the 3rd unit of Remy cavalry is coming around the left side of the Egyptians. They're losing their Sarissa cavalry. Did they get any kills? 18 kills for a Sarissa Lancer unit. Not good enough whatsoever. How's the general doing? General's at 18 kills as well. Oh no, look at this. Micromanagement for Andre's on point. Cavalry charges coming in. Yes, there are spearmen here. Or pikemen actually to help the general, but they're way out of formation. And this general is so close to routing. Far out. That's very, very scary. Oh, stabilized just barely. Meanwhile, the slingers are now getting charged by the Remy cav. They've been unprotected for way too long. They have been doing some decent damage against the Nervii units, and they're trying to snipe the Nervii general right now, who is in melee combat, but those slingers are doing friendly fire. Not a lot, but enough. This unit of pikes is going to rout shortly for sure. Especially if the Nervii general has an ability, but he doesn't. Ah, okay. If he had the warrior trait abilities, he'd be able to scare those units off the battlefield, no problem. The Egyptian general's about to rout as well. Far out. This is looking pretty good for the Nervii. They just need to be careful they don't lose their general. That's a very common weak point in Nervii armies because they can't use cavalry as generals. But look at this. Romans over here retreating. 2 units of Nervii are now free. Another Egyptian unit's about to go. How do we have 9 more minutes in this battle? Ah, over here, this is why. The Egyptian right flank is doing really well. The Remy elite cav were diverted, and as such, the Egyptian infantry actually beat the Nervii infantry, so that's very impressive. I'm still really surprised he's not using the slingers to target the cavalry at all. If he kills that cav, the Egyptian infantry is better than the Nervii infantry on a pound-for-pound scale. But he's kind of just leaving these slingers to fend for themselves. And they're in a very close formation. So, 2 cavalry charges and all of the slingers of the Egyptians are tied up. Not ideal. But it is what it is. So yeah, the entire left side of the Egyptians is gone, their general's gone. But then the Nervii general, where is he? Is he gone as well? It looks like they both lost their generals. Is this it here? And back to it, yeah. So this is the Nervii gentleman right here retreating. You can tell as you hover over it, has a star on the icon next to the heavy melee word. So basically a bit of an Egyptian last stand here, although there still is a chance for a little bit of an upset, especially if the pikes can come in big, which it doesn't seem like they can, not in that formation. They really need to just form up, especially in like a V shape or something. What's the Nervii player gonna do here? He's trying to charge these Roman legionaries, but they're getting stuck in the pikes. So they've actually almost inadvertently pulled through some of the pikes because they had a move order, not an attack order. They didn't pull through the formation, but they just got closer to the pikes than what they would have had an attack charge. Potentially. But yeah, just a little bit of an awkward misclick. Meanwhile, back here though, again, the Remy Elite Cavalry just coming in big. I don't think they're even getting a lot of kills, are they? Oh, no, they are. 200, 222. No, that's really good kills. 212. But, I mean, the main thing about the Remy Cavalry is that they're getting routes. Like, look at this charge right here. This Roman unit is about to run, surely. As is this one. It's about to be surrounded. Yep, this one's gone. This one's about to be gone. Cavalry charges are coming in from both sides. Oh, no way. Boom. Wow. Shattering to the Romans. They regret leaving Rome for Egypt now, I bet. Galatian spearmen are coming in from Egypt to try and help, but I mean, a little bit too little too late at this point. Looks like Andre is trying to keep his troops away from the pikes, but close enough so that they threaten them and get like charges in the rear when they move. Pretty good play, although I did notice a few units were attacking from the front earlier. But man, 5 minutes left? How is that? How is there 5 minutes left in this battle, guys? Surely it's over for the Egyptian player, right? He's surrounded. There's one unit of Romans here, another over here. They're both in 150 or so men left. Galatian spear unit here, and then a pike unit here. He's about to lose these Galatians. Boom. Devastating from the Remy. Get good kills from the charge. Not a massive amount, but yeah, it's once the unit's routing, that's where all those kills come into. So that's probably a big part of where the Remy are getting their kills from. What a mess this formation is. They lose another Roman unit in the distance. Now it's down to 2 Egyptian units, the pikeman unit and then the legionary unit. Oh, there's another unit that's come back from the rout. Although it's just some Cretan infantry, so it's basically pointless. These Remy will knock it out in a single charge from the front. But wow. What a battle. I really don't understand how we have so much time. That timer mustn't be accurate. Surely not. It could not take 4 minutes to break this formation. I mean, this Remy unit is wavering a little. But there is 4 units of cavalry left for the Nervii. They just had a massive amount of troops right here. Rout. Why would they rout? 200 men left and they're routing? That's crap. Really sucks for the Nervii player. 169 men routing? That doesn't make sense. That's just a Rome 2 thing now, but the Egyptians are basically boxing up now. They have no other choice. Legionnaires just outside the pikeman formation. Look at this little cheeky square. That's funny. Wow. That is beautiful. You're kidding me. Okay, I haven't seen that before. I can't lie. I have not seen that. But what is going to happen now? So we have one unit of Remy, another unit, and then what unit is this? I think it's bodyguards, no? Yeah, Belgrade bodyguards. And then we also, oh shit, no, we have more units in the distance, more elite Remy cav, so maybe that's why he's waiting. He's busy chasing down a Ptolemaic slinger. But yeah, they'll get them in a second here. They might get like one more shot. Nothing going on in the background. Boom. Woohoo! Some of those guys went flying on the charge there. Yeah, these slingers are about to rout. Yep, see you later. They've shattered. Time to bring back the Remy Cav and then unite his troops early on. Props to Andre for not just charging in. I mean, he does have it surrounded on 4 sides, but he's facing very good Egyptian units. He has a pike unit that's in decent strength and a legionnaire unit that's just over half strength. So, you know, fair enough that he's taking his time. He basically needs to try and charge the unit from the sides where the pikes are not facing, and the pikes are facing this way towards the infantry. So if I were him, I would charge the infantry and then just stop them just short of the pikes, and then that's when you hit the formation with your cavalry, and then as the pikes turn around, the infantry get the charge. That would be my theory or suggestion. Let's see how he does this. How do you crack this nut? Here we go. Oh, he's going in a little preemptively. Pikemen get a move order to turn around. He is charging in on all sides. He's pulling back his Remy Cav. Very good micromanaging by Andre. He still will take casualties though. Wow, those Romans, 295 kills. That's insane. Very powerful. Pikemen gotta turn around though. Oh, they're barely staying alive. Oh my goodness, this is close. The Legionnaires took a beating on that. They just lost over like 40 men. I'm surprised they haven't routed. Probably about to. Yeah, this has to be the last charge, surely. Here they come. The Egyptian nut is about to be cracked. Woo. See you later, Legionnaires. Yep, they're routing. The pikemen. What is this? Silver shields? No, just Egyptian royal pikes. That's right, they don't get silver shields. There we go. What a battle that was. I was kind of surprised that it got so close in the end here, but yeah, I mean, I think both sides had really cool armies. The Egyptian play was definitely on the downhill slope though. Not literally, I just mean in terms of army composition, because he only brought 2 units of cavalry, and he had 5 units of slingers, but they never targeted the cavalry of the Nervii. And one thing when you have to keep in mind when you play as the Nervii is if you're going up against an experienced player, they're going to bring Remy cavalry, because Remy cav are honestly quite OP. They need to be nerfed in my opinion. They're just ridiculously powerful. Very, very useful, and the Remy Cav absolutely won the battle for the Nervii there. So let's go to these statistics very quickly, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the battle. Alrighty, everybody, what a battle that was. Statistically speaking, we can easily see why the Nervii won. Not only did they have twice the amount of cavalry that the Egyptians had, but the kill ratio on these units was absolutely disgusting. The majority of his cavalry got over 350 kills. The one unit that did quote-unquote bad got 283 kills, and it still had over 95% of its unit left. That's just disgusting. Those cavalry units are very, very good. Now granted, they didn't have all that much opposition, so you would expect them to pull these kinds of numbers, if not slightly lower. 283 is what I would expect across all units at least. Because they didn't really have all that many counters. At least none of the counters were designated to them. The slingers of the Egyptians were targeting the heavy infantry of the Nervii the whole time, which isn't a bad idea. But when you see that the Nervii have double the cavalry you do, I'm surprised he didn't try to target the cavalry more. So I'll be interested to see Nightingale's inputs. It's not necessarily a mistake, it's just something I would have done differently though. But I mean, he had the Nervii had spears as well, and 190 kills is actually not that bad for like a throwaway spear unit. Not bad at all, although it could have just been on a no armored unit like Cretan infantry, so you know, can't look into those kills too much. And if we look at the infantry for both sides, you'll see that the Egyptian infantry were a little bit more consistent in their kills. The Belgae had some nice units, 328 kills, 100 kills. 100 is a minimum I would expect. 328 is great, that's really, really good. But there isn't really consistency in high kills across all of his units. I mean, it's about 50-50, which isn't too bad, but compared to the Egyptian infantry, I mean, it got very, very close there. And to be honest, the Egyptian infantry, if they weren't constantly harassed by the Remi cavalry, I can see these infantry absolutely winning over the Nervii, especially considering they actually had more infantry, more numbers in general. So yeah, it's quite a feat that the Nervii were actually able to outflank with their own infantry too. Really shows Andre's skill in using his infantry to tie up the main line of the Egyptians. The Trader Legionnaires were very interesting. I'd like to try and test these out more, but I think this is a possible unit which I think kind of needs a little bit of a nerf. Maybe not statistically, but the fact that you can recruit an entire army of these guys is a little bit much in my opinion. I think they should be restricted to 4, maybe 5 units in total, but that's where I would kind of limit it to, especially for online battles. I mean, this is Egypt. Yes, you know, there were Roman legions that served in Egypt, but should you be able to create an entire army out of Roman legionnaires? And these are Marian legionnaires. These aren't Hastati or Principes or Triarii. These guys are the step up. These are proper hardcore Roman legionnaires. So I think it's a little bit much that you can get so many. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see all of you guys giving input on that. I mean, yeah, statistically they didn't do amazing, but they did consistently well across the board, which is very good considering that all of these units were outflanked, and they were also hit by elite units of the Nervii. Whereas these Roman legionnaires, they're just good, solid, heavy infantry. They're not elites whatsoever. It's really cool to see Nightingale try and use so many slingers, but 5 units, and they all have like what, a total of less than 200 kills or around 200 kills. A quarter of his army got only 200 kills. Like, I mean, none of these units were expensive, but they weren't all that useful either. I would have really liked to have seen him really focus on nailing down at least 1 or 2 units of the Remi cavalry. You can't get all of them with his slingers, that's obvious. But, I mean, try and use the pikes and the legionnaires to delay the Nervii infantry, deal with their cavalry first, and then maybe he could have like outflanked the Nervii elite infantry with his slingers or something like that. But yeah, just a suggestion and just my input anyway. I'd be really interested to see what you all thought of the battle. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. GG's to both gentlemen. Andre and Nightingale, really appreciate you guys playing out the battle, and Andre for sending in the replay. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one.